Over the years, Amtrak has used a variety of liveries on its rolling stock since taking over passenger rail service of the United States in 1971. Amtrak has a series of 7 different schemes, also called phases, that were introduced in 1972. Most of Amtrak's phases were first used using geometric arrangements of red, white, and blue colors that represent the United States. I will talk about each of the phases and discuss the equipment that was used during that time and what the phases mean. I will then briefly talk about the new 50th anniversary locomotives that were recently designed to celebrate their 50th anniversary milestone. With that said, let's get started. Phase 1 was introduced in 1972, and it was the first paint scheme to be applied on Amtrak's trains. It was also the first new paint scheme for most equipment under Amtrak. The scheme was to show a visual representation of the nation's colors of red, white, and blue. Amtrak referred to each paint scheme by Roman numerals, but later made the changes to the official numbering. Locomotives were painted a light gray, with a black roof, the Amtrak pointless arrow logo on the side, and a red nose, which then led to a nickname called the Bloody Nose. Passenger cars were silver, with a red and bright blue stripe at window level and the chevron logo at one or both ends. A number of variants were made for non-revenue locomotives, such as the GG1 locomotives, turbo train and turboliner train sets, and self-propelled RDC and Metroliner rail cars. The Phase 2 paint scheme was introduced in late 1974 with the appearance of GE E60 locomotives. The red nose and chevron logo on locomotives were replaced with stripes similar to passenger cars. Most passenger cars were originally unchanged from Phase 1, except for the removal of the chevron logo. New sightseer lounges had a higher stripe with an angle transition on each end. The Phase 3 paint scheme was introduced in 1976 and is still used on some equipment. On both passenger cars and locomotives, the outer white pinstrips were removed while the inner stripe was widened, resulting in red, white, and blue stripes of equal width. Turboliners in the LRC test train were painted in white with the stripes at the bottom of the train. Later, several types of locomotives were bought and given variations on a Phase 3 scheme. AEM-7 locomotives had the blue stripe expanded to cover the entire lower part of the locomotive. On Dash 8 32BWH locomotives, a deeper blue and red was used. The stripes had additional pin strips and angled upward across the middle of the body. Genesis locomotives had a lighter roof and a narrower white stripe. The stripes angled downward on the sloped nose and faded towards the rear. In October 2013, Amtrak introduced a new variant of Phase 3 with the making of the new Vierliner 2 cars, the first of which entered service in 2015. The Vierliner cars had some changes from the previous Phase 3 passenger cars, including a red reflective stripe at the bottom and a newer logo. In January 2016, Amtrak revealed a P32 ACDM that was repainted into Phase 3, similar to that of the Heritage unit numbers 145 and 822, but featuring modern logos and Empire service symbols on the sides. In December of 2021, Dovetail Games collaborated with Amtrak to commemorate their 50th anniversary. To celebrate the milestone, Amtrak wrapped one of their ACS-64 locomotives in a custom version of their historic Phase 3 livery applied to the AEM-7 locomotives throughout the 1980s. The wrap is sponsored by Transworld 2 and is on locomotive number 662, running on services in the Northeast Corridor, which includes stops in Boston, Massachusetts, and Providence, Rhode Island. Phase 4 was introduced in 1993. Brought into service with the delivery of the newer Superliner 2 cars, Phase 4 has 2 thin red stripes and a thick dark blue stripe. Phase 5 was introduced with the arrival of the Acela Express high-speed train sets in 2000 and is currently used on most locomotives. Locomotives were painted light gray with a blue stripe at the top and a thin red reflective sill stripe at the bottom. The blue stripe has a wavy bottom on Genesis locomotives and Acela Express power cars, and a flat bottom on other locomotives and an XF40PH non-powered control unit. The Amtrak Travel Mark logo is painted near the front or rear of the unit. A similar scheme was created for Amfleet coaches used on the Acela Regional with a window stripe and mobiles to indicate the type of service. The rebuilt turboliners also had a version of the Phase 5 livery with similar window stripes and mobiles. Phase 6 was introduced in 2002 and is currently used on most passenger cars. It has a similar style to Phase 4 with the wide window stripes on a single-level car and narrow stripes on the Superliners. Single-level cars have white logos within the blue stripe, while Superliners have blue logos below the stripes. 5 of the first 6 Siemens Charger ALC-42 locomotives will have a transitional Phase 6 scheme consisting of a mostly blue body with a red and black around the windshield and a red and silver chevrons at the rear. Phase 7 will be introduced in 2021 as the new livery for most Amtrak equipment, with the new Siemens Charger ALC-42 units being the first to wear the paint scheme. As I am writing the script, some of the equipment is in the Phase 7 paint scheme. The scheme will keep the same red, blue, and dark blue colors seen on the earlier liveries, separated by white lines curved like on the Amtrak Travel Mark logo. On March 17, 2021, Amtrak announced in an article that they will be painting some of their locomotives in paint schemes to commemorate their anniversary. They painted a total of 6 locomotives, including 5 P42 DCs and 1 ALC-42. They each have their own unique paint scheme to show the significance of it. The first locomotive that they painted was P42 DC number 100. It is painted in a midnight blue paint scheme with the 50th anniversary logo and a tagline of Connecting America for 50 years. The second locomotive that was painted is P42 DC number 108. It is in a Phase 6 scheme with the classic red, white, and blue colors, including a 50th anniversary logo and a tagline of Connecting America for 50 years. The third locomotive that was painted is P42 DC number 46. It is in a Phase 6 paint scheme with a 50th anniversary sticker on it. The fourth locomotive that was painted is P42 DC number 161. It is in a Phase 1 paint scheme in recognition of Amtrak's first livery in 1972. The last locomotive that was painted is ALC-42 number 301. It is in a Day 1 paint scheme to a throwback of the unique design created for the first day of operations on May 1st, 1971. Amtrak has a variety of liveries that show the significance of them and how special they are. Amtrak has painted their locomotives into special commemorative paint schemes such as advertisements, veterans unions, or heritage units to commemorate their paint schemes of the past. Over the years and into the future, Amtrak will design more liveries to commemorate their huge milestones through Amtrak's years of service. With that said, thanks for watching.